Okay, hi everybody. I am Whitney, and Rosa and I are working today on a mother-daughter pair who left. Our target audience is displaced persons, and so our mother and daughter left Pakistan to escape an abusive arranged marriage, and they came to the States fairly recently, and they are currently living with her aunt and uncle, and they're both are experiencing some symptoms, and so we are going to talk with them today. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start, and Rosa will be the mom, and then we will switch, and I will be the daughter. All right. So, okay, hi. What? It's nice to meet you. What brings you in today?
It's nice to meet you. I I have a lot going on. I'm just really sad and I'm just having lots of trouble with, sleeping, and I'm just I'm really not eating a lot because I'm just so sad, and the food here is so weird and different, and I feel like a burden on my aunt and uncle, and I'm worried about my daughter, and I can't sleep, and I'm just having nightmares, and I just don't know what to do,
Oh my
and
gosh.
I'm just a little lost and confused, and I'm just scared. I'm scared my husband is going to come back and find me. So that's a lot of what brought me in today, and I really just don't know how to work through it, and in a new country I'm just really scared.
Oh my gosh, wow. That is so much. I mean, that is a big list.
Mhm.
But it sounds like you said scared many times.
Mhm.
So it sounds like you're having that there's lots and lots of things going on,
Mhm.
but that you're feeling afraid I mean, it sounds like that's kind of the major issue. Is that right?
Yeah, my husband was so abusive to me, and um that's why we had to run away and get out, because in my country we don't believe in divorce. So I
Right.
just had to run, and just but I'm scared that he's going to find
Oh my gosh. Okay. So, and then you said you feel depressed, you're sad, and you're having some nightmares
me. Mhm.
and not eating.
Mhm.
So those are a lot of things all at once.
Yeah.
And one way we think about that
Mhm.
is that you have been through what we would consider a very traumatic experience.
Mhm.
And honestly, it sounds like a lot of traumatic experiences.
Right.
You said
So,
he was abusive. Were
yeah,
you?
it was.
Yeah.
And when you say traumatic experiences, like, what can you tell me a little more about, like, what that means? Like,
Absolutely, absolutely. So a trauma is anything that puts a person into a fear for, I mean, it's a fear for your life.
mhm,
And sometimes it can be kind of a small thing. Maybe you're in a car accident, not that that's a small thing,
mhm,
but compared to your story, honestly.
right.
So sometimes it can be a car accident, and then people are maybe afraid of driving.
Mhm,
Okay.
okay.
So you have gone through a lot of things that on their own would count as a traumatic experience. And then you have several. You were abused by your husband. You found the amazing strength to save your daughter from that situation, and that is you should be very proud of yourself for that. But at the same time, running is traumatic. I imagine getting out was hard. I imagine getting to the US was hard. And
Yeah.
then you've come here, and like you say, even the food is strange. Yeah, I mean, American cuisine is interesting all on its own.
Right.
So you've got all of these different things that we would consider traumas. They're life-threatening situations
Mhm,
stacked one on top of another.
mhm,
And so then what happens is your body, you say you're scared, your body gets used to being in danger
mhm,
all the time.
right.
Yeah, and so then you feel like you can never rest. You
Mhm,
can't you can't calm down enough to eat, and when you're in fight and flight mode, it cuts off the blood supply to your stomach, so you're not hungry.
Right.
but then that makes you feel worse in a lot of ways.
Yes.
So I'm sorry, that was a lot of words there. That was a lot of explanation,
Well,
but it's
mhm.
it's very understandable why you would feel this way.
Yeah.
Okay? Does that make
It
sense?
makes so much more sense, and I'm glad that you told me in that way because now I don't feel like I'm going crazy.
You're not.
Right.
Yeah,
So that makes me give me a little peace of mind knowing that this is normal based off of what I've gone through. And so thank you
absolutely.
for explaining that to me.
Yeah, no problem. It is, and this happens to everyone. So it's not, it is your body's reaction.
Mhm.
Our body and our mind, they're tied together.
Mhm.
But sometimes sometimes our body kind of hijacks things.
Mhm.
So like when you're like, I haven't eaten lunch. I really need to eat. But you're worried. You're like, is that guy over there? Could he be my husband?
Yes.
And then the system just
Mhm.
it you just can't do anything with it.
Right. Right.
So we're going to do a couple of things,
Okay.
okay? I want to hear more about your story.
Mhm.
Definitely kind of the long term solution is to write your story in a way that you feel in charge of it and empowered. And that way you are in charge of your life instead of the trauma controlling you, okay?
Mhm. Okay.
So that's long term.
Okay.
Short term, we're going to work on some things that can help you feel better right now. We're going to learn a breathing exercise that you can use anytime you're starting to feel that panic, anytime
Mhm.
you're starting to feel that worry. And then we're going to get you connected to some resources. You say like you feel like maybe you're a burden on your
Mhm.
aunt and uncle.
Right.
I think maybe we should check in on that. I bet they're happy to be helping you, but it could be. But we'll figure out some ways to help you feel a little more independent, a little more in control of your world right now.
Okay.
And then that on as well will help calm your fears from so many years.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But the thing that I want to reiterate before our time is up is that you should be really, um, I don't want to say proud of yourself, but recognize, to counteract that scared feeling, recognize just how amazing and strong you really are because I that's a you've been through things that I can really only imagine, and I hope
Mhm.
you'll teach me some more about that
Yeah.
as we talk.
Mhm.
Um, but I just want to say it's amazing what you've done and what you've done for your daughter.
Thank you. That means a lot to me. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you next time, and and I'm glad that my daughter is able to get some help, and I feel a lot better after I talk to you. So thank you so much.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm glad I could help.
Thanks. Okay, so now we will go switch roles, and Whitney will be the daughter of this situation, and I'll be the clinician. So.
Oh, Rosa, suddenly I can't hear you for some reason. There we go.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So, thanks for coming in today. Can you tell me a little bit more about what's going on?
Well, I mean, I'm here in the States, and we've been here about 6 months, and we ran away from Pakistan. And I it was scary to leave, and then now I'm here and I feel like I'm all alone. I had to leave my friends. Um, we left my dad and his whole family, and it was horrible what he was doing to my mom, but still that was like I'd lived there my whole life in that one house. And I don't, I wake up every day and I'm at home with my aunt and my uncle and my mom, and I can't go to school yet until they figure out our asylum status. I don't know. It's just so much. I just feel all alone.
Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. It sounds like
There's-
you went through a lot, and I'm so sorry to hear what you've been through. And I cannot imagine what you've been through, and I'm so sorry. But I'm glad you're here today, and I hope that when you're here and you come see me, we can find some solutions and some ideas, and we can help work through some things that you've been through, okay?
Okay.
So tell
Okay.
me a little bit more about your friend's situation. You feel like, other than the aunt and the uncle and your mom, you don't feel like you really have anyone. It sounds like that's what you're saying, right?
Well, yeah, I mean it's tough whenever I go out, I'm Muslim,
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of awful, honestly, in America.
Mm-hmm.
And although I really like it here, I love all the things. We go to Starbucks now, and that's really fun.
Yeah.
But I'm in my hijab, and my mom and my aunt all wear the head covering,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like people are looking at us and
Mm-hmm.
talking about us. And I've walked down I've kind of gone out front and kind of hung out outside to see if any kids would want to come talk to me, and no one ever comes by.
Right.
I just, yeah, so it's really, yeah. We have a dog, which is nice,
Mm-hmm.
but it's really hard.
Yeah, I cannot imagine. Well, the feelings that you feel of, those insecurities and that sadness of feeling and looking different, that can really affect someone, especially your age, 12 years old in middle school. You have a lot of other things to be worried about, finding yourself and your friends. And so now that you feel like you're different, you must feel like it sounds like you're really isolated. So other than going to Starbucks, do you go anywhere else? Do you do anything?
Well, I mean, I go with my mom and my aunt and my uncle when they run errands or that sort of thing.
Okay.
um like I say, they don't want to put me in school just yet.
Hmm.
So we have, I guess I start next year. I'm going to start as a seventh grader
Okay.
here.
Hmm.
But that's still a while away. So no, I don't really do a lot. I watch TV or play on the computer, that sort of
Okay.
thing.
So besides TV and the computer, do you enjoy anything else? Do you have a hobby or something that you maybe used to do in Pakistan that you do here?
Yeah, well, um yeah, actually, I mean, it's super dorky. It's so nerdy. But I knit.
Oh
I like
yeah.
to,
Okay.
yeah, I like to make scarves and shawls. That's what I really like to do. And
Wow, that's
and
that's awesome.
my aunt taught me how to make dish rags out of that. There's a kind of fun yarn that's really scratchy,
Oh
and you can
wow.
make dish rags. So I do that. That is fun. I do like to do that a lot.
That's really cool. That's cool. Well, it sounds like that's something you enjoy doing. So, um, how about do you have some stuff available for you, like some yarn and knitting equipment, or?
Yeah, we do go to, in addition to Starbucks, we do go to Michael's quite a lot and get,
Okay.
yeah, I get yarn, and my mom does encourage that. I haven't been doing it so much recently
Mhm.
because, it's kind of, I feel like bleh all the time.
Right.
But yeah, I do have the supplies.
Okay. So it sounds like I'm going to give you some homework for the next session. So how about you try back knitting maybe 3 times a week, okay? And you just
Okay.
start slowly and kind of see how that makes you feel. And how about we can work on getting you some community resources and maybe find a knitting group or some type of arts and crafts group in the community, and maybe that can help start getting you around more people, especially that have like-minded interests and hobbies, and that way you can have something to talk about. That way those thoughts and feelings and insecurities that you may have can really start to diminish or decrease based off your ability to connect with people, and they can get to know you on a personal level and not just judge you by your outer, external look. How does that sound?
I would really like that. That does sound good. I mean, knitting, it seems like it's a pretty, yeah, that would be fun to do that
Okay.
with actually other people.
Right.
Well, though, I mean, it sounds fun for a minute, and then it sounds awful because
Mhm.
I really I don't feel good. What if they
Yes.
stare at me? I'm worried about that like all the time.
Right. So those thoughts that you're having, those worried thoughts, those insecure thoughts, those affect our behavior and our emotions. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know. No, I
Okay.
don't know that. I don't
Okay.
understand.
So when we go through trauma, and do you know what I mean by when I say trauma? Do you know what I mean by that?
No,
Okay.
no.
So it sounds like what you've been through, which is a lot, the your dad being abusive towards your mother, you guys coming from Pakistan. Um, it's a huge change and that can be very traumatic. And what that means is it puts you in a state of distress. You're not feeling very good physically, emotionally, internally. It can be very powerful, something that can take over your daily life. You don't want to even get up to take a shower, you don't want to eat,
That
and
is
then
true.
we start to go into something that we call depression, where you're so sad you don't want to get out of bed, you're not motivated. And so it sounds like you're having some of those symptoms and signs, definitely. So how about we continue to talk about that, and now that we've addressed it a little bit, the thoughts you're having and how that affects your isolation, and then ultimately it makes you feel sad and depressed and lonely. Maybe you can start to write down every time you have a negative thought. You put that, associate that with a feeling and a behavior,
Oh,
so maybe we can start, you bring that for your other homework assignment, and then we
okay.
just work through that slowly each session. And then we can kind of work through those feelings, and then we can see how the knitting's going, and we can start to get you in some community groups once you feel up for it, and we can just
Okay.
slowly work our way into it. Okay.
Okay, that sounds really good because my aunt has kind of been telling me that I need to snap out of it for my mother's
Mhm.
sake, and
Right.
that just makes me feel even worse. But
Right.
this sounds like this sounds like it might even be kind of normal, or just that
Mhm.
it's because of what I've been through, and maybe if
Yes.
I'm okay. So these things will help, doing a little knitting and
Yes.
talking with you and writing down. So let me just be sure I've got the right idea. So you say if I have if I have a thought that's like, oh, I don't want to get out of bed, or oh, I can't knit, then I write that down
Mm-hmm.
and then
Yes.
write how I'm feeling at the same time.
Yes, and then you also talk and then write down your behavior. So, do you
Okay.
choose not to knit? Do you choose to isolate in your bedroom?
Okay.
Okay, so that way we can start kind of putting together the pieces about how you're dealing with everything. And this is going to be a process. It's not as
Okay.
easy as it is to snap out of things. And
Right.
I wish it was that easy, but unfortunately, this is going to be a process. It's going to take some time. But I can assure you that with, some help and some guidance and some resources, that, you can live a successful and happy life. Okay?
That sounds good. I'm really excited. You know what? I think, I know teenagers are like, I don't ever want to talk to adults, but I think it was really good for me to come see you, and I appreciate it. And I'll try to do some knitting. I think I've got a project I'm working on, and I'll take those notes and we'll talk more next time. I like that.
Okay, that's great. I'll see you next time. Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.